on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
On the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Discussing that heat in the street, and we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin J, got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Final round. I already know how I'm coming, man. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Check it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right up the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see this start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look how it freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the gang, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
Problems. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Hoping each and every single one of you is doing well, and welcome to the 148th edition of the Vitamin G podcast. I am back in control after relinquishing it last week because I tried to get up. I woke up literally half an hour before the podcast was supposed to start, and I could not get up. I got out of bed and the room started spinning, so I collapsed back in my bed and I was like, fuck it, I will leave this train wreck to Omar. It was the worst decision of my life. Worst decision of my life. Alright. So, sure. Alright, so first of all, let me introduce you to the panel. The payday gang of the video game podcast world. First of all, we have the chains of the group. Pharaoh, what have you been up to, my guy? Alright, cool. Next, we have the wolf of the group, Zero. How are you doing, my guy? What have you been up to? Oh, General Radan. Have fun with that one. Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. For some reason, OBS has decided, fuck you, we're not going to register your sound, so nobody could hear your intro. So Pharaoh, what have you been up to again, my guy? Did you? Alright, Zero, back to you. My apologies. Start over again. Sorry, OBS did not recognize my audio input for the chat. Oh. What the fuck?
That's
Thanks,
okay.
Obvious.
It's vitamin G. We don't know what we're doing.
No.
But as I was saying, playing Elden Ring, nothing but Elden Ring. 65 hours in, having an absolute blast. I have not come across the general yet. I think I know where he is.
Let me ask you this then. Would you rather fight him now when he's nerfed or after they buff him?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with General Radan. Very rarely, and I mean this in all sincerity, it is very fucking rare that From Software nerf a boss. I think, off the top of my head, I can only think of one, and it was one of the bosses.
Them.
No, let me fucking finish! Let me fucking finish, fool! Jesus! It is very rare for From Software to nerf a boss. The only one off the top of my head was one from Sekiro, I believe. And that was because that boss was broken. So if From Software, I can't
Demon
remember.
Hatred?
No, it wasn't Demon of Hatred. Wasn't Demon of Hatred. But but if From Software is nerfing a boss in one of their games, you can rest assured that boss was not working the way they actually intended him to do it. Was not working the way they intended it.
Yeah, I would be intrigued at why I did not hear a lot of complaints about the general. I heard he was very tough, but not a lot like, oh, fuck this dude, I don't want to play anymore. Just that he's very hard. So I'm surprised that they wouldn't nerf anything. Hopefully they put it back. I'm not going to go after him because that's just not how I'm playing the game. Like, I'll get to him when I get to him. I'm on a completely different side of the map than where he is. So I'm not about to just hop over.
He's on the right. He's on the east side of the map.
Yeah, I'm on the west side. Because I found a jar who told me essentially.
Alexander, you met Alexander, the man.
Yeah, and he was like, "I'm gonna go fight this dude down here." I was like, "Or I'm gonna go be a part of this tournament." And I was like, "Oh, that's where he is." I was like, "I'm not going here yet, so I'm gonna go the other way." I guess of like the main story bosses, I've beaten the third, which is the moon. I don't know. I guess I'm on my way to the fourth one. I don't know yet. I've spent so much time in this because I'm just wandering, exploring. I've got the sword of fire and whatever, which is fantastic.
Whatever, I love that.
A specific sword that I'm trying to get. And I just can't stop playing it, man. I love this game so much. It's so much fun.
Does it make you want to go and play the other From Software games?
I've played Bloodborne. I've played Demon Souls when it first came out way back when. And which of the Souls games has the fire spider? Or hat top of her body?
One.
Quabal. Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay. Yeah, the one with who is it? Or those two dudes, or the fat one and then the skinny one. You fight them together.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's Dark Souls.
Okay. Okay, so Dark Souls 1.
Orstein is small.
Yep. So I played Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne. So I've never played the second one.
Don't play play the second one if you're really curious, but it's not recommend reading. 3 you should play. 3 is really fucking good.
Okay. Yeah, 3 is fun and DLC for 3 is good.
Oh my god, okay, no, you want to talk quick, if you want to talk about bosses, if you want a boss that will make you say fuck right off, there's only ever been 2 of them in a From Software game that made me feel that way. Orphan of Kos and Lady Frida.
And other than that, plays Bloodborne DLC. It's fun.
I never finished Bloodborne, so I gotta get back into it.
Did. Alright.
It got to a point where like I just stepped away from it for a while, and then I couldn't remember what I was doing. And so I was torn between, at this point, should I just start over? Or should I try to remember where I'm going?
No,
and I got stuck in the middle, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
That fucked up, yeah.
Alright, next, the Dallas of the group. Kofi, what have you been up to, my guy?
Ew.
What?
I hate Dallas.
Not Dallas, the state, not the city. The guy, the heister from Payday. You fool! I've been saying we're the Payday gang of the gaming podcast community.
Sorry, just
Kobe still doesn't like it.
I was
Like,
just
it's
looking at
still too
NFL
close.
news. Yeah, I got a bad news
It's
in my
still
mouth.
too
That's
close.
fine, no. GT7 has been live recently. So to give people an idea, the license tests are pretty tough, but I find some of the missions a bit unique. They're not unique from old GT7 games, but basically there are 6 core missions which have individual challenges, usually 9 or 10, and you have to do different things, sometimes with your own car, sometimes with a car you're designated. Like one race I did, I think I mentioned this last time, it was 30 laps on a real track called Tsukuba in Japan that it starts to rain around lap 5 and then rains all the way to like lap 20, and you have to manage gas, you have to manage the right tires, and so they give you one pair of race hards, race softs, and race mediums. You just gotta come off in the end. That one you have to bring your own car, so that one's really interesting. Another one you have to you're driving like the Audi R8, but it's tuned for like Le Mans, and you have to pass like a Bugatti, a GTR, McLaren, but you cannot touch anything. Like if you touch anything, you fail, and you can't cut corners, anything like that. So there's lots of like individual challenges. There's a drafting challenge where you're in the Bugatti Veyron, one of the I forget the name of the famous track. I think it's Monaco, and you have to like draft up to 240 kilometers per hour. A lot of cool stuff like that. So again, so there's 6 core challenges in order to get like the gold trophy. I'm done 4 of them. I'm working on the 5th one. I'm like maybe like a third into the 5th one. There's one drag race that I'm doing. I'm getting my butt kicked. Actually, Pharaoh, you would like it. It's like a race against an SRT10. But yeah, that's basically it for me. Oh, Zero Field sheet came out today. You can go get the sheet for free. You can use the overlay program with PlayStation Remote or with your PC and a capture card for absolutely free. And we just completed our giveaways. So yeah, we're really excited, and I obviously can't make any promises, but we are looking at the sequel, which comes out sometime between September and October. And we're really excited about the sequel too. So good stuff.
Nice. And next we have the Houston of the group. Omar. Only Payday fans are going to realize why I called it Omar the Houston. Tell me,
I have
what have you been up to?
absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly, and that's how it normally is anyway. That's how I'd like to keep it. Go on, what have you been up to?
So a very quick rant. Fuck Gorilla. I'm disappointed in them. They did something good, but at the same time they did something bad. They removed the animation for pickup, which is amazing. I asked for it. That's something I really wanted, and it's now very smooth. And it's an option. You can toggle it if you want to see the animation or not. Great for Forbidden West. However, what they also did is they nerfed the weapons, the damage dealt by legendaries, and that's fucked up. When you're playing, this is a single player game. You shouldn't nerf legendaries like that. That's fucked up. If it was a multiplayer game, fine. Make it equal or something like that. But single player game, let people have their fun. Getting legendaries is already a chore. And then if you want to upgrade them, that's literally time consuming to the point of I didn't even do that. I beat the game without even upgrading one single legendary to the mask. Other than that, I've been playing Tiny Tina, loving it. I'm farming, and yeah, almost like my honeymoon phase with Tina has faded, and I'm noticing a lot of issues with the game. They need a change up with Borderlands 4. With this game, the skills doesn't feel that impactful. Weapons feel borderline pointless no matter which weapon you're using. There is no real difference. It's almost like one weapon is literally it's a crossbow you're holding, and it can be a crossbow that's used as a gun or assault rifle, and you're like, why is it not different from a gun? It's such a shame that they actually went backward when it comes to gun design and gun element and stuff like that. Other than that, uh, uh, doing side quest and getting gun rewards for the most part is not that exciting compared to three. I mean, like I've seen better guns from legendaries and rares than I've seen from quest. And they shit the bed with this one. Not to mention the connection is still at its worst. And yeah, no, I hope they fix it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Pharaoh, are you alive again over there?
Nope.
Oh no. Okay, well I'll give my intro then. I have been playing Ghostwire Tokyo, which
Ooh, how is it?
Oh wait, hold on. Jube is here, so we'll get to. Hold on. Who was the? Oh no, there he goes. Son of a bitch! It's like, yeah, people, fucking 20 minutes. I gave everybody 20 damn minutes. Ghostwire has been fun. The world. Okay, so I'm disappointed that it's following, and I'm more disappointed in Shinji Mikami. God damn it, man! Why'd you have to do this? It's following this typical open world structure. Lots of collectibles, like side missions. You need to go to this one area to uncover a portion of the map. The pretty much the standard paint by numbers open world shit that pretty much is still going
it's an
to
open
this
world
day.
game, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still paint. It's the paint by numbers version. Like it's the developer's first attempt kind of open world. I don't feel like it. I don't know. I'm sick of open world games. It's the open world fatigue. But other than that, the
1 second. Did you play as Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude?
No, I didn't.
I recommend you to play it. It's a very quick game for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You get additional information about who is the character is and where it's coming from.
No. Then I don't want that. I don't want that. Because because here's the thing. The baby's first open world. Yeah, exactly. I don't want that for the simple reason. What's sticking out to me right now is one, I'm liking the elemental powers in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I like the animations for it. I like being able to. I like the ability to finish off enemies the way that I am.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Tokyo looks because it looks like they've got the whole of Shibuya in there, which is interesting. I love the character designs. It's really creepy. This is not a survival horror game. Absolutely in no goddamn sense of the world is this is a survival horror game. Trust nobody who tells you this.
It does look like it. Like,
it isn't. No, it doesn't.
The way the enemies, the yokais are drawn and stuff like that.
Nope. In no way does this play like a survival horror game. In no fucking way whatsoever. In no way whatsoever. Because a survival horror game is more than a look of a game. It's the mechanics and the structure of a game. This is
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about how the enemies look.
That's one of the things holding up this game for me. The other thing is the mystery. What the fuck is going on? Who the fuck are these people? Because right now in this game, pretty much the rapture has happened. There is you, the enemies, and these 4 other bad guys, the Mega Man bosses of this game. And they all have an interesting look. And I'm more interested in what's happening. I'm very curious about where this story is going, which is why I don't want to play that prelude. Because I want to see where this is going.
I played the prelude and I'm still mindfucked at yours. So the prelude doesn't add that much to it.
Medium. The Evil Within was a semi-open world game because it was split off into areas.
Which chapter are you in Ghost?
3, I think. I'm not that far into it, I'll admit.
You're literally like me. Yeah. So I'm pretty...
The map is fucking huge for this. Like, this shit's on the Evil Within 2. This is a true open world where the other one was more of a sandbox kind of thing. Like, it gives you an area, explore it, but then you go to another area and you really can't go back to the first area, if that makes sense. This is a true open world.
I agree with you when it comes to Ghostwire, when it comes to the collectibles. That's fucked up. However, if you would link collectibles to power up, would you been then okay with that? Would that be more exciting for you to do?
I hate being. Here's the thing. As far as collectibles, I need to first of all put them all on the map. Let me see where they are on the map.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Because then it's just like it just becomes busy work. If you want me to find this stuff and be interested in it, then like mark it. Then I'll go out of my way to find it, or I can path my way to go and find it. Otherwise, I'm literally just walking around in the dark.
You can actually do that via the shrine, but that's just limited, I think.
Exactly. But the other game I've been playing, I finally got around to doing it. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
Holy shit! This game caught me in the intro. Like this game. Like first of all, I love Peter's mother. I love all of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the costumes you can get for the characters. I really like the combat though. I'm playing with keyboard and mouse, and I had to tweak some of the controls to make it just that right. Because otherwise, I was thinking this feels like it'd be better with a controller, but now I've got it perfect on keyboard and mouse. The narrative, I'm fucking loving everything about Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're loving the humor, eh?
What?
The humor.
Oh, dude, everything about this game I'm loving. And I turned around and said in my recordings, it is a shame the Avengers stifled this fucking game. The Avengers killed this game's opportunity to become a fucking smash hit.
Not only that, it's the first showing that did that.
No, I feel like the first showing didn't kill it as much as the Avengers. If this came out before the Avengers, even with that first showing, if this came out before the Avengers, this game would have sold bank.
If this game had demo, would have helped it?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Because I beat it and I love it.
And not a paid demo, like a free demo. But no,
seriously, a free demo.
Aside from that, been playing Minecraft today. Some jackass destroyed most of my shit in my village, in my realm, so I'm having to rebuild all of that. Playing Shin Megami Tensei, which I will get into this right now for Kofi, because Kofi, you need to pay attention. This has DLC. One of the DLC is... So there are things in the game where you can go and attack them and you get money from them. You get Maka from them, which is the currency in the game. There's also ones you can attack that will give you Gospels. Gospels are items that you can use on yourself on the Nahubino. And that will basically, when you finish a fight, it will level you up instantly. There's also small little enemies that will give you grimoires, which do the exact same thing, but for your demons. The DLC increases their spawn rate and how many show up.
Interesting.
How much is the DLC?
But I like they show up 3 times as much.
How much?
3 times as much. They show up way more.
No. I'm asking how much does the DLC cost?
Overall, because there is a DLC where you face the Proto Fiend, the Demi Fiend, sorry, from Nocturne.
Oh, from 3? Oh, that's so sexy.
Yes, there is one, and he actually joins your team.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
pretty sexy.
How much
Great.
does the
£25 for all of it.
£25?
Yeah. It's about 30
And
euros.
They have a DLC for
Do you need
gosh.
Nintendo Online for it?
For the DLC, no.
Okay, because I'm getting a Switch soon.
You don't need, no, it's not online. It's only for online you need the DLC. But no, this DLC snaps this game's difficulty clean in fucking half.
So basically, this is literally what's called Assassin's Creed Odyssey all over again.
I wouldn't know about that, but here's the thing. Like I said, this is nothing new from Atlas. Because Persona 5, you were able to buy personas. And these personas you could get for free in Persona 5. Like Thanatos, who was powerful as all hell. And then in Persona 5 Royal, there was also DLC that gave you the world personas. And one of them knows Myriad Truth that wipes out everything. Because it starts at level 90 fucking 9.
Oh, fuck out of here with that shit.
Atlas is nothing new for Atlas, but this is the most egregious fucking one because it seems like this game deliberately fucking stifles your leveling up and puts you in scenarios where it's like you have to grind your ass off to level up to be able to stand a chance as you naturally progress through the game.
Oh,
So this literally built around microtransaction. I'm so mad.
No.
I don't know if it's microtransactions.
Here's the thing.
I can't say anything about 5, but 3,
easily.
I grinded a lot so that I could survive.
Yeah, no,
I grinded a lot.
It is essentially the same with 5. It's essentially the same with 5. But you have to grind twice as goddamn hard, unless you buy the DLC.
And the other thing about 3 that's brutal is like all the dungeons are just set up to ruin your random encounter ratio. I don't know if random encounters are in 5, but if you take 3 steps in one room, it'd be like, fight! And
Okay,
like,
no.
shoot.
It doesn't
like,
have random...
Fight!
No.
Fight! And it'd be like 3 fights before you get to a door, and then they'll throw everything at you that you aren't prepared for. Like, oh, do you have destruction? Oh, nope, got destroyed. Okay, game over.
Right,
Go to your save.
It does not do that with random encounter. There is certain areas that have a random encounter, specifically in the school. There is a school section where there is kind of like boo encounters for you. But like the rest of them are very much Persona 5 kind of style where you see the enemy or Strikers and Persona 5 where you can see the enemy and you can go and engage them if you want. The problem is this game loves doing what you just said with bosses. You will be going and then suddenly cutscene, you're in a boss fight. And it's like, I was not mentally fucking prepared for this. I got destroyed.
No, yes! But here's the thing, like, I totally agree with you. Because, there was this one boss. I don't know if anybody else had an issue, but her physical damage was just, like, off the charts. And I went through this dumb puzzle. Okay, it was like this rooms that you were going in between, and you had to step on the shadows, and the shadows would pull you into the negative version of the puzzle. And you had to keep finding where to go. And remember, this is all random encounters, so you're getting whittled down. And when you finally get to her, she just smacks your team with like 90% of your health and damage. And she killed me like she's probably the only boss in the game that killed me 3 times. There's a couple trials.
There are some.
Oh my god, so brutal.
There are some encounters in this game, boss encounters that they will apply no lube.
Yeah, I believe it.
So yeah, going on. The other game I finally finished GTA San Andreas Chaos Mod. Holy shit, was that an ordeal? But it was fun as fuck. Never again.
Where are you playing that on PC?
Yes. It's a mod where basically after a minute, the mod will activate a random effect. Whether it be giving me weapons, whether it be changing the weather, whether it be killing me instantly or busting me out of nowhere.
Everything is fine except the killing part.
Oh, it could also give me a big head, or it could speed up the game speed by 4%, or by times 4.
Is that permanent, or...?
No. They were off after a minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they were off after 2 minutes, I think. But
and
yeah.
how many buff or negative effect can you have?
A lot. A lot.
In one
a lot.
moment.
A lot.
Okay. So you do.
You can have there's like 3 effects going at once.
What's the name of the game?
GTA San Andreas. But I'm using Chaos Mod.
Okay.
But I'm using the Chaos Mod. The other game I've been playing is Dragon Age 2, which is really picking up and is being really good. I'm enjoying it. And also Elden Ring. I beat General Radahn. Holy shit, that was a fight. That was a damn fight. I'm glad that I was able to summon all my bros to it. Because I could not imagine at this stage fighting that motherfucker one-on-one because...
Did you beat him the nerf version?
Yes, I beat the nerf version because,
that was a fight?
What?
Interesting. Because I've seen people saying they literally beat it in 2 minutes.
The nerf version? The nerf version is not that easy. It all depends on your build and how fucking powerful you are, because I'll tell you this, General Radahn, where I was with what I had, could 2-shot me.
Yeah, I've seen him two-shotting a lot of people, and his comet move is
That comet
up
move
to-
is bollocks. Oh,
That's
especially
fucking-
his second
that's fucking awesome.
phase is just nuts. But again, another. He is another example of every boss has an AOE or a 380-degree fucking attack. Because there are some attacks he hit me with that he should not have been able to fucking hit me with.
So okay, yeah.
But yes, moving on to the who would you be? Who would you be, Jube?
Jube and Pharaoh.
No. Jube would be the jacket of the group. What have you been up to, my guy? What you smoking?
He's too busy with
And he's muted.
tunic, I guess.
Herbs and spices.
Hey,
Herbs and
alright.
spices.
What's up, everybody? I played obviously Tunic. Got a review out for that. That's up on my channel now.
Yeah, I retweeted that.
Trying to get through Elden Ring. Still, I beat Radon last week, so I know those feels. That was
Am I
rough.
the only asshole who hasn't beaten Radon?
Yeah, you're the only asshole.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck. The fight. The concept of that fight is really dope, though.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know who I felt sorry for the most? Not me, not anybody who's fought him. You want to know who I feel sorry for the most in that fight?
Who?
That fucking horse.
Oh,
To carry all that weight.
he don't got no legs, yo.
What level are y'all?
I'm level 30 odd, I think.
I'm 72.
Okay, so
Bro,
me and
that-
Jube are closer to the same level then, because I think I just hit 71 today.
Yeah, I want to know where all you guys are power leveling because this game still is being really fucking stingy with the runes for me.
I found the gold scarab. That helps.
I need that.
Oh, I've pretty much worked my way through the entirety of the left side of the map.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Also,
trying
to be when you find you're there because Radon's in that area. The dragons.
Oh, they're
particularly
pissed.
for you.
They're
Yeah, those
pissed. The dragons are fucking pissed.
Yeah, the dragons are like very easy EXP.
Wait, which dragons?
Just the regular
All
ones,
of
the big white. No, not the boss dragons.
Dude, I beat a boss dragon without taking a hit. They are pissed.
Yeah, no, not the boss dragons. The regular small ones give pretty solid EXP, and they're very easy to beat.
Okay.
For us, Jube, maybe not so much. For Dante at level 30, yeah, that should be good.
Yeah. So Dante, did you pick Radon's sword as your thing?
That's my
As
what?
your reward? As your
I
reward.
haven't talked to the dude to get my reward yet.
So if you pick the sword, if you two-hand it, you get 2 of them.
Nice.
Just keep that in mind.
But it all depends on the stats for it because I'm running more of a dex build. And yeah, Rodan was also proof for me that bleed in this game is fucking dirty.
It is.
Oh,
It'll
yeah,
kill you real quick.
Yeah.
It'll kill you real quick. Like, oh look, I'm dead. And I'm also excited to be playing Lego Star Wars later on today once that drops.
Yeah, people have been asking if I should get that.
What episode is this?
All of them.
Oh, it's like all 9? Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the whole collection into one game.
Called the Skywalker Saga, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this the first time it's been released?
No, this is a re-release of all of them.
So they've had like the complete saga, but this is like with voice acting and like all the technical improvements from Lego games that have happened since those games on like the 360 and shit. We're getting
Imagine a Lego game have voice acting compared to what's called Nintendo games.
That's kind of sad.
Indeed, that's mega sad. Right, Lucy?
That's wild. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's a lot of game to chew through, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I know the fucking feeling. Believe me, I know the goddamn feeling. Pharaoh, do you mind just giving your intro real quick? What have you been up to?
Well, Pharaoh, I've been playing Scarlet Nexus, the Kasane side of it. Kind of halfway through that. That's about it. Did the Madden stream. I'm trying to get into some other games. I'll probably do that once I finish Scarlet Nexus up completely. Playing a little bit of Mega Man right now during the show.
Alright, cool.
So,
Professionalism.
Are you
we
gonna play Elden Ring though, bro? Are you gonna play it?
Nah, that requires.
I'm not pressed to play Elden Ring. I'm sure I'll get around to it.
Again, that requires balls.
So
Yeah,
I found
okay.
out when it comes
Alright.
to Elden Ring, I'm screwed. Despite the fact that I wanted to play the game without any patches, but because I bought it online, I'm gonna be forced to play it with patches.
Okay. Oh, Jube, you just help me out here. You are familiar with a lot of the From Software games, correct?
Yep.
Right. If From Software patch a boss,
Yep.
that typically means that the boss was not working to how they originally intended for him to work, correct?
Generally, it also is to stop like cheeses and things like that. But yeah,
How many times have they actually nerfed a boss?
not very often. Because even with supposed nerf, Radon was still a bitch. Even I was at 60 something when I fought him, and it still took me a little bit to get through.
The only boss, and by the way, I found it. The only boss they ever actually nerfed in Sekiro, which is the only one that comes to my mind, was Blazing Bull, and that's because of Blazing Bull's ridiculous fucking posture.
Also,
That makes
apparently, they reverted it. Like, he's not nerfed anymore as of today.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
he's already dead, so I
don't need
care.
to deal with that. as far as dealing with it, what I need to tell you guys, and it's really important. I am Spartacus.
Are you Spartacus?
I am Spartacus. Alright, but because I don't know if you talked about it last week, but we are going to go over a little of it this week. So the news dropped, obviously, of what Project Spartacus is. And it has been met with criticism, praise, and pretty much everything in between, especially with me. So Project Spartacus has now been broken down into 3 separate tiers. I'm glad that someone finally took my platinum edition, my platinum idea, because if you remember, I brought that up about them combining Xbox Live and Game Pass, and one of them could be called Xbox Platinum.
Did that?
But yeah, here they are, ladies and gentlemen. So for Project Spartacus, you will have either the PlayStation Plus Essentials, which is $9.99 a month. This is all in dollars. $25 quarterly or $60 yearly, which provides the same benefits that PlayStation Plus members are getting today, such as 2 monthly downloadable games, exclusive discounts, cloud storage for save games, and online multiplayer access, which is essentially just PlayStation Plus as it is right now. No difference. Mm-hmm. Then we have PlayStation Plus Extra, which is either $15 a month, $40 quarterly, or $100 a year. That provides all the benefits of the Essential tier and adds a catalogue of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PlayStation 4 and 5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalogue and third-party partners. Games in the extra tier are downloadable to play. Now, does this mean that these are free to download? Like, if you're paying this $100 a year, does that mean that these games that you're adding are free to download?
Yeah, I think so, because PS Now, when I subscribed to it by accident for 1 month, I was able to download anything, and I paid just $10.
Okay.
So this is basically you can download them or stream them, which is basically the PlayStation 3 titles are only streamable. But apparently
we're gonna get to that in a second. So
apparently PlayStation is working on their own emulation for PlayStation 3. But go ahead.
Okay, and then we have the PlayStation Plus Premium, which should be called Platinum in my opinion. Is either $18 monthly, $50 quarterly, or $120 yearly. Provides all the benefits of Essentials and Extra tier. Adds up to 340 additional games, including PlayStation 3 games via cloud streaming. A catalogue of beloved classic games available on both streaming and download options from the original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP generations. offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PlayStation 4 games offered in the extra and premium tiers in markets where PlayStation Now is currently available, such as the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 5, and PC. And limited time game trials will be offered in this tier, so customers can try select games before they buy.
And apparently, this is a limited trial. A lot of companies are gonna make use of it, according to Jim Ryan.
Right. So here's my thing. So my thing is, my biggest sticking point is the price. My biggest sticking point of this is the price. Okay, if it was going up by, say, I don't think this would have gotten as much backlash as it did if it was down in price. So Essentials goes down to, say, $50, $50 for Essentials. Then Extra is $60, and then Premium is $80. I feel like that would have gone over a lot better, but it's the pricing is where I'm sticking at it. That's one of
the middle tier and the higher tier are too much.
I think the middle tier and the I think they're all too much. I think for what you're getting for PlayStation Plus, I think that is way too much now, given everything else that they're adding to all the other tiers. Because again, you got to remember, Kofi, Essential is effectively just PlayStation Plus, and you're still paying $60.
Yeah,
but no, I mean,
but we always were playing 60.
No, it wasn't always 60. That's the thing. It wasn't always 60.
I have always been playing 60. I know, because I'm paying nearly $60.
And I'm telling you right now,
for PS Plus, it went up by like
$50.
$10. It was $50 at one time.
And it was 40 for me in the UK. Like back when the PlayStation 4 first came out, it was £40. Now it's about 50 to 60.
Yeah, back then they already raised the price. Long time ago?
And that's my problem. If you're now going to add additional tiers, why not knock that down? Why not knock that down, and then build the middle tier up to the new price so you entice people to stay on that, and then competitive the other one, so that people think for another 20, I could get all of this.
You don't think it's a good idea to keep the tier the same price?
No, I don't. I think 120 for everything, and I'm gonna get into like what each entail for me personally right now in a second. But I honestly feel like they could have gone down in price with the Essential, made Extra the same price it is now, considering all Extra does is add a catalogue of 400 PS4 and PlayStation 5 games. I'm sure a lot of those games people already own anyway, and also comes into the problem of once your Extra runs out, if you let it lapse out, you can't access those games anymore. So why not just buy the physical version when most of the games that are going to be on there are most likely backwards compatible with physical discs anyway? Do you know what I mean?
Apparently, the backward compatible games are all getting trophies.
But he's talking about PS4 games.
Yeah, I'm talking PS4 games. Like
PS4
PS4 games. Soon you'll be able to start getting them dirt fucking cheap. And if your thingy lapses or you can't pay it, all those PS4 games you're playing are completely out of the window. So people would just be better off buying them and using the physical version.
I think you're
some people
right
have
about...
an all digital PS5.
Oh, no, that is the exception. But that's the exception that proves the rule.
Well, but I would also say I think you're right, but the people who you're talking about, that's not who this is aimed towards.
But I question who is this meant to be aimed towards? Because again, you're asking people to pay $100 a year.
I would say people like me.
So
because I have PS Now. Like I understand the sort of concept of game, like I can just own it myself. A lot of the times I just don't particularly care. Like it's never I can just go buy it again if I need it, if it like ever disappears. but two, what I'm paying for essentially is the convenience of it all.
Mm.
That I just push the button, scroll. I mean, now menus their PS Now menu sucks, but scroll through the menu and like I can play Ape Escape, I can play Brothers, I can play Little Nightmares.
For me, I guess I've just got this in my head where I'm ultra paranoid because it's happened once and it keeps happening recently of somebody deciding, hey, we're gonna fuck with this company, so we're gonna take the whole PlayStation Network down again.
Oh, no. And when I get to my point, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
There's something I'm very interested about with this new system that I don't know if I'm too happy about so far. But just to clarify your point, I think you're absolutely right, Dante. That's pretty much always the argument. But I think the convenience of it all lets people not particularly care. Because, right, most of these games can probably be found for like $20 or less, but because everything is like this now. Like I don't really shop that hard for most of the things that I do because everything as a convenience is just given to me straight up in front, and so I just do it that way, and I don't really think about it ever, because sometimes, admittedly, I just forget games exist. There's so many games out now that I just completely forget that like they exist until I see them on PS Now. Like, holy shit. I didn't know this was here. I've always wanted to play it, and now I sort of get to.
Okay. One thing I will... Now, right onto a positive. This is the positive that I will add. It's great that you're actually able to download these games. That it's not just stuck to streaming. You're able to actually download these games, so you're eliminating the possibility of input. I mean, the chance is always necessarily there, but it eliminates the massive issue of possible input lag or pixelization on the screen if your internet decides to start crapping out.
And they also have the version that's for people who don't have streaming. You know.
No, that's what it is. Yeah, you're able to download the games directly to the hard drive.
Yeah.
To my understanding, which is fantastic. Yes. Which again, like that's what I was hoping that they would do. They don't have it for PlayStation 3, but if Omar is to be believed, and take that with a silo of salt, they're planning on fixing that with a PlayStation 3 emulation, which would be fantastic. Now, where they do start, now this is a benefit and doubt because you got to kind of look at the track record. In my opinion, you got to look at the track record of this when they say a catalog of beloved PlayStation classics. From original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP. You gotta kind of temper expectations with that, because we gotta remember, the last time they tried to do this, as far as classic PlayStation, we got the PS Mini. And we all know how everybody was upset with how, like, really, really bare bones the game collection was on that.
Facts.
So I feel like people have to temper expectations with what the initial catalog and the foreseeable catalog will be for the PlayStation and PS2 catalog. Now, I feel like the PSP catalog might actually sustain a little better, because the PSP very much was very first party condensed. I would say the biggest thing that is missing from this, because they can do it. They have the technology that they could do this. Why is PS Vita not on here? If you really
let me ask you this. Is there a PS Vita game that you absolutely love?
Yeah, Killzone Mercenaries.
Okay, that's fair. There's just not a lot of them. It's just like I'm a zealot when it comes to Vita. There's like 15 games.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'd agree with that sentiment. But if they're so determined to kill the PlayStation Vita, at least give all of these games another home.
True. I agree with that.
So, but yeah.
Can you hear me?
You were muffled, but I'm trying to finish my point. So I would have liked to have seen PlayStation Vita on here. Give people a chance, if they didn't own a Vita, to be able to experience some of the good games that came out on that. Killzone Mercenaries, in my opinion, is a really underrated first-person shooter because of the platform it came out on.
Maybe PS Vita will come later.
That's thoughtful thinking. It being across multiple platforms, that's really good. Streaming on PC and such, that would be good. But hold on, but you don't get PlayStation Vita Harte. I was about to say, yeah, you get PSP, you don't get Vita. This is the one that I take the most umbrage with. Why are they putting Trials behind a paywall?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's fucking stupid.
I'm not a fan
I
of
agree with that
this.
too. I think the whole Trials thing it makes my eyes roll.
I'm not a fan of this. I don't know if they actually paying developers extra money to do this.
No, the fact that it is behind a paywall for me solidifies the fact that it is. The fact that it's behind a paywall, and it is a and we don't know how many are actually, and the fact that it's and we don't know how many games are actually going to be on there, like as far as like trials. This could be we'll give you a small percentage if you allow this on there, or if you allow a trial on there. That's a problem. Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There is one thing I will say about the PlayStation Premium thing that I feel this does. You got to correct me if I am wrong, because I'm not that savvy on Game Pass. So, fair or Jube, you are more than welcome to correct me on this. But the Game Pass, that does not offer original Xbox 360 games, does it?
It does.
Oh, it does. Game Pass does allow you to play Xbox One, original Xbox 360 games on Game Pass on your Series X.
All three.
So it does allow.
But not like any, right? It's like a select list.
Right. Okay, because the last
Togi got added.
Also, but the difference is the Game Pass is literally 180.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can play original Xbox and 360 games, but it's like slim pickings.
Right.
How much does it cost? How much does it cost compared to PlayStation?
A yearly thing. Like, we need to, if we're going to talk about this openly, it's got to be the yearly one, because that's what most people will go for.
PlayStation service beats them annually. With the annual fees a little bit cheaper.
No.
Premium versus
120 for PlayStation, 180.
Yeah, you're talking about the annual.
Yeah, I prefer.
But you're not. But you're not.
Looks at different. 120 versus 180, and with PlayStation, you're getting way more games.
You're not getting way more. You're getting a bunch of old games. You're getting a bunch of old games that your own people said you don't care about, and you're paying more. You're paying more for a PlayStation Premium service. You're paying more for the PlayStation Premium service than you were paying for PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus combined.
Let me hold on. Before I let this go to the shit flinging, which is what I really wanted to, which is what I'm really looking forward to.
I'm not going to. I'm just stating.
No, I mean from Omar. That's what I'm really looking forward to. But let's just get the facts out there. So it's very slim picking, like, because they've already confirmed, and it doesn't matter if it's all games, it's still a catalog, even though it is. Again, we're paying for backwards compatibility in both cases. That's not good either fucking way. I don't fucking like that.
You're not paying for backwards compatibility because you can play all those games without having a Game Pass subscription. There's no, like, you have to have PlayStation Now in order to play PlayStation.
You have to have an internet connection.
Don't you need to have?
Let me hold on. So if I wanted, hold on.
No, you don't have to have Xbox Online to play. You don't have to have Xbox Live to play an original Xbox game or Xbox 360 game.
Are you sure about that? So you can just buy Otogi right now, pop the disc in, and it'll play.
He's no okay. You're talking completely different things. Omar was bringing up Xbox Live, which is the online service. Kofi's talking about an internet connection.
You're talking about DRM. Yeah, you're talking about like DRM.
He's talking about you need online so it can download the patch to be able to run the game, is what Kofi's talking about. Omar was talking about needing Xbox Live, the online, the service to play online to be able to play these original Xbox games. That's what Omar's talking about. Kofi's talking about something completely different. No,
Yeah,
Kofi,
you might need an internet connection for the patch to play the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not, but you can
So
buy.
basically, both games
You can
are
buy or pop in a disc as long as it's in the backwards compatible catalog. You can play that game. Like I have backwards compatible games that are no longer sold on the Xbox store that I can play on my Xbox Series X right now
because he has
So
the
it's
physical
select-
edition.
because I already own,
So
because I
it's
still own
selective.
them.
So it's selective. Like
Yes,
with
Not
PlayStation,
selective.
you
If it's
can
in if it's in the backwards compatible catalog,
But
you can
that's
play it if
selected.
you own
But
it.
that's selected. You can't just pop in anything. But that's besides the point.
I mean, it's selective with PlayStation.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't play everything
yeah.
that's in the backwards compatible catalog. It's the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, I know. That I'm not
and that's
arguing
what
that
I'm
point.
trying to get to. Go ahead, Dante.
But my point is like the fuck's sake, everybody interrupting me. I'm losing where I'm talking. For me, this hinges because 340 games from the PlayStation 3 catalog is going to be big, but the fact that it's limited to streaming is going to hamper it severely for me.
Yep.
They need to sort out the emulation. Lickety
They
fucking
are
split.
already working on emulation for PlayStation
I said
3.
lickety split. Like, I'm talking within the next 12 months, that fucking thing needs to be out. Because that's going to be a make or break, because there are a lot of PlayStation 3 games.
The emulation already exists,
Yeah,
so
it's
we
called-
can't go with that. We can't go with the "we're working on it" excuse when it's already out there. If you really want it
on the PC. Yeah, even though that's
Yeah,
even though that doesn't entirely work though.
it's not perfect, but the fact that there's a solution that exists, there's no excuse at this point for.
There is a difference if the framework for
there's-
that can work on the architecture.
Yeah.
There is a big difference. Can the existing framework work on or within the PlayStation 5 architecture? So
how long have they had to figure that out?
PlayStation probably not that long. The guys who have been working on it probably have been working on it.
They've had a couple. They've had a couple years. They've had since they started designing the PS5. They've had that much time to R&D and figure out if they wanted to create an emulation software. They've had quite a bit of time to figure out.
But
If it's something they wanted to do.
stop in. All right, motherfucker, stop interrupting. Let me get this out. The make or break is going to be the rest of it. The PlayStation, PS2, and PSP. That's going to be the biggest make or break. It's the fact that this needs to come out solid. Like, this needs to have games upon games. This needs to, if PlayStation really wants to hang their hat on this and show everybody that's a good idea, it needs to fucking destroy the catalog for the Xbox backwards compatibility as far as older games. Now, that being said, as far as backwards compatible, as far as pricing, because here's the thing, they're gonna push this as far as an annual thing. They're gonna try and push this as a pay annually thing because that's where they have Game Pass beat. Where as far as like pricing, this is 120 for everything. Game Pass is 180. That's where they're going to try and push this, which is why I said that is the more. that's why I said the annually thing. The annual price is going to be is more. It's not going to matter monthly. It's not going to matter quarterly. The annual thing is where it's going to really come down to it, because people would rather pay it all off and not have to worry about it next month.
Yep.
That to me is where it matters, and they do have it beat there. Now, as far as
not even there.
What?
They're not even there because Game Pass pays for itself. I haven't paid for Game Pass in like.
So I mean,
like a year and a
I
half.
feel you, Pharaoh. I also like. I think all of us may pay less for PlayStation Plus as well. I try not to use that.
No, I pay nothing. It
That's
pays
fine.
for itself.
I'm just saying, like the average consumer, you have to look at it at retail.
Now you're using your opinion.
You're like, I get it for free, so actually, it's not expensive. Like,
No, I'm saying I'm not saying you have to be the hardcore person. But I mean, if you just use your points that you get just for playing games and using the service,
I have
you earn
points.
you earn
redeemed
months.
$50 worth of points for PlayStation Store because of things I've spent money on. But should I use that for an argument right now?
Before
Do
you
you
use
earn
that,
points?
before
Do you earn points for using PlayStation Now?
Before you use
No,
that as
for
an
purchases
argument,
on the PlayStation Store.
What I'm saying, you get points on Game Pass for using Game Pass, not for buying anything, just for playing games.
So that's where we're going to make our argument? How you can redeem?
I'm saying it subsidizes the cost. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely
And the
not. When
percentage of people who do this?
you're literally almost paying double for compared to PlayStation.
$60 is double.
That's not almost double. Please don't do that.
yeah.
Like $60 is almost double.
Before Omar starts this, because again, I want to sit back. I want to sit back with popcorn and watch this shit show happen because I know it's fucking coming. The last thing I'll turn around and say is, as far as they need. You know what? Fuck it. No, just go for it. Omar, go ahead. Start this shit show. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this. Go ahead.
So 120 versus 180. That alone is disgusting. Let alone the catalog.
Well, you're not getting day one exclusives.
Hold up. You are the only one that want day one. Xbox fanboys are the
It's not only what you want. We're talking about value. We're not talking about we're not talking about what anybody wants. We're talking about value, right?
Dude,
Alright, so as an outsider,
So for instance,
outsider,
you purchase
as an outsider, I do as far as PlayStation Premium goes, I do see day and date not being there as a severe negative towards the PlayStation
for sure.
Premium.
So Omar, you have to be realistic for a second. You pay $120 for a year for your PlayStation Premium service. If you're never gonna play a new game, that's great. So that's $120 right there.
I always buy my game.
But if you're never gonna play a new game, that's great. But if you want to play the new Horizon or whatever's coming out this year, there's another $70 automatically. So even if you just bought one more game, you're spending more. But it doesn't matter what you care about. You're spending more on your gaming experience, no matter how you slice it. No matter how you slice it, if you buy one game, that's a PlayStation first party exclusive, you're paying more to PlayStation for your gaming experience versus with Xbox Game Pass.
I would rather pay for
that's what you would rather pay for. We're not talking. See, now we're talking about personal preference versus facts. I'm not talking about my personal preference. You keep talking about what you care about.
No, this is literally about what Jim Ryan said.
Then stop saying what you care about.
And you have literally
what you care about isn't important right now.
I'm not saying about what I care about. I'm saying about what factual is. When it comes to how many times have you said, you came out and said that PlayStation can't afford to do this and Sony can't afford to do that because they don't have Microsoft money. How many times have you said that? So there are
certain things that they cannot afford to do, and I'm not saying that they should do that, but we're not talking about what they can afford to do. We're just comparing services.
Literally, they did.
We're not talking about what the companies can afford. What they can afford right now doesn't matter to us. It's the product that they're offering to us as a consumer. We're not supposed to give the company pity because they can't afford something. We're looking at a service and whether it's beneficial to us as a consumer, and we're weighing those benefits. We're not out here, passing a collection plate for Sony to be able to afford something and not afford something. That's not what this is.
I will say this. What they could have done to mitigate this a little, what they could have, the fucking bare minimum done, is said discount prices on brand new games for the premium.
That would have been nice. Yeah, I agree.
That would have been dope.
In my opinion, no joke. If they'd have turned around and said 30%, if they'd have turned around and said for the premium, say 30% off all brand new games, 120, you get all of this plus 30% off. I feel like that might have actually been a bargain.
I think I'll go with you with that. I only think it makes sense to do that discount as if you do it on pre-orders. because that way they're getting 30% off full price.
That
So
would
you're
be
so
nice.
they're not getting they're not getting 30% off a game that's already on sale. You get what I'm saying?
But then they need to update their fucking refund policy.
So you pre-order.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah,
So, like,
even more fair point, which is the trials. I disagree that they putting trials in the top tier list. This chick, which is again, I have the feeling that they're paying a publisher and company to create trials for PlayStation.
So let me ask you this: so PlayStation, this service launches in June, right?
Yeah.
The service launches in June. So when this service launches and E3 season hits, and there's inevitably going to be a game trial. There's going to be one, and there's a game trial that's going to. E3 season. That's why I said E3 season. The season where you get these big showcase where everyone shows what they have. It's just the season that we talk about.
Gotcha.
When we get to that season, there's inevitably going to be game trials that release, and there's going to be game trials that are released that aren't specially catered to PlayStation, but are still locked behind that paywall that are going to be available on Xbox and on PC. It's going to happen.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say the demos have already existed. That's what they're playing when E3 was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so but I'm saying these demos are going to be released to the consumer.
That's what I mean.
They're released to the consumer, and they're going to be free somewhere else.
Yeah, they're not paying publishers to make them. Publishers were already making them. Somebody has to play these games before they come out.
No. That part's normal. For example, I'm not expecting. Here's the thing: if how I read it and how they explain it is how I'm thinking it's gonna happen. A game like Guardian of the Galaxy, it never got a demo, but with PlayStation trials, it's gonna be able for me to try it out if I have the trial. But Xbox fans are not gonna be able to try it out.
And that's
trials and demos are gonna be two separate things. I don't think PlayStation is that stupid to have. They didn't say demo; they said trial. Demo.
What's the difference between a demo and a trial?
A trial is there is a difference. A demo is a small section of the game, where a trial is effectively the full game, but you have a time limit on how long you can actually play that full game. So if you're a speedrunner, you're finishing that game in that trial.
And when you finish, if you choose to buy the game, your progress is saved. You don't need to try to start all over again.
Okay, so best way I can describe it.
Yeah, but there are demos that do that.
You remember? No. Okay.
Yes,
so, no.
True.
Okay, so they're technically trials. Do you best example I can give? Do you remember when Resident Evil 2 Remake was coming out and they had the timed demo? Now, just imagine that trial demo, but they actually give you the full game. Unfortunately, that would also mean you'd have to download the whole fucking game, which is, again, why trials are fucking stupid, because you need to download the whole game just to be able to play like an hour of it or 30 minutes of it, and then pick if you want to buy it or not, because then you have to go through the hassle of, deleting that entire fucking game from your...
And I don't know if it's I don't know who does it. And I hope it's not PlayStation, but I know I've heard some consumers complain about this. Sometimes with these trials, they start at the download button.
It was PlayStation.
EA Play was also fucking up with that too, with like the Madden trials and
that's what I'm saying. I'm not accusing anyone of doing it, but I know anyone specific. But I know it's a thing when it comes to these game trials that a lot of these game trials start at download.
Yeah,
it happened with Cyberpunk. You could download the trial for Cyberpunk, but because Cyberpunk is massive, it started with the download, meaning like if the trial is only 5 hours and it takes you 3 hours to download the game, you only get 2 hours to actually play.
Listen, Zero. That only happened to you in your fucking Ethiopian internet speed. Okay, don't.
I mean,
No. Trials start when you start the button, not when you start the download.
There are some games that did that.
In the past.
They might have changed it, but it used to start when it downloaded.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Omar, when Death Stranding was a demo in the EU region, it was when you downloaded it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I played Watch Dog Legion, and I played almost quarter of the game basically at the trial. And only after I finished a certain section, I killed that one boss. They told me either I buy the game or I stop. And when I stopped, I couldn't play another time and choose a different route. But they never told me you have such amount of time left. So I think it's gonna be case by case basis then, and if it's going to be just from the download button, that's fucked up. It really should be from the second you start playing the game. That's how it should be. And again, if a game like, for example, Guardian of the Galaxy on PlayStation, you're gonna get a trial. On Xbox, you're not gonna get a trial. That's the
an
difference
assumption.
going to be.
That's an assumption. That's what you believe.
No,
You don't know that to
no.
be a fact.
I
You don't know
know
until it happens.
because
Until it happens,
one
you can't
is a
say that's a
demo
fact.
and other is a trial. Huge difference, Pharaoh.
I mean, either way, I think we all agree if Xbox doesn't have it, they should, but we also shouldn't be paying for it on PlayStation. It's regardless of whether or not
No,
Xbox doesn't get to have it.
I actually would rather pay because I have.
We should not have to pay for trials.
Of course you would.
You should.
No, but no, because here's the thing. Because if this incite developer to create more trials, I've always advocated for demos. And
So
companies
you
are
want to
not
pay
doing-
for demos now? Okay. All right.
companies are not
I don't
doing
think I don't
demos
want to have
now.
to pay to make them make demos. Like either they're gonna do it or they're not.
am-
Like I'm not subsidizing their cost.
I agree, but at least I'm getting something out of it with not demos only. Look, if it was the demos only, I would have never subscribed to the PS3, and it's a fucked up. I'm not disagreeing with you guys. They should have put the trials in essentially from the base version. If you get, then you got the trial. I would have put it that way.
How about just get the game in the service? Forget the trial.
No, I
Give
don't
me the
want.
game.
No, I don't want day and date. I don't want quality of game to be hampered by it. Period.
Okay, Xbox was the publisher of the year. Where was quality lost?
Dude, Halo is fucking dead. Forza is fucking dead.
Okay, but is the game it had okay? You're not you're talking about player count. You're not talking about the quality of the game.
No. I'm talking about.
No, you're saying the game is dead. You're not talking about quality. You're talking about player count.
I'm actually talking about quality.
Where's their drop off in the quality of the game? Did Halo's campaign, was it trash? Was it?
I never played the campaign, so I'm not talking about the campaign. However, I'm talking about everything that happened. I would bet you money.
But you're not talking about the quality of the game. You're talking about you're dancing around the question.
No.
They won publisher of the game. Psychonauts 2, Flight Simulator.
Okay,
Halo
so
Infinite.
two things. Psychonauts was being made before.
Okay, but it was gonna be trash without Microsoft. They wasn't gonna be able to do the voice acting or anything. So all the things that made that game.
They said that.
They said it.
They literally came out and
They
said
literally
this.
said it.
We don't know
They
what
needed Microsoft's injection of cash in order to make the game that you got to play. You weren't gonna get anything near that without Microsoft's injection of cash. You would have still got the game, but it would have been a much different game.
But they didn't develop it though. They just gave.
They did develop it. They bought them, right? If they bought, did they buy them at the end of development? They bought them while the game was being developed, right?
Development.
Okay, so they developed the game, right? They finished it, so they developed it. You can't, like.
I mean, admittedly, I think this might be a bit past the point because we're not talking about Game Pass.
I know.
We're talking about PS Now. Or PlayStation Essential Premium, whatever. So
we're talking about quality again. You keep bringing up quality of games going down, but the evidence suggests that that's not the case. We have factual. We have a sample of data. We have 3 years of data that shows that quality of games have not gone down at Xbox with games released on Xbox.
That's a tough one.
Are you defending Crossfire X there, sir? Are you defending Crossfire
That's
X?
that's not a first party game. That's what we're talking about, right? You're talking about quality of games going down, right?
That come out on
and Crossfire, and you're the one who said Crossfire has been out for years. It's just finally coming over to console.
No,
right?
that's the multiplayer. The single player was brand new.
No,
the single player is not in Game Pass. Only the multiplayer is in Game Pass. You have to pay for the single player.
I mean, either way, I think that conversation, I think, is just a little different. If we look at, because it's 3 services, right? If we look at what the 3 services
by
are
the way,
offering,
yeah, it is.
It wasn't at launch. After the game released in such a poor state, they gave a single player portion for free. But it was because the game released so terribly. It was kind of like I'm sorry. Let's try to rectify this. Yeah, it wasn't in there originally.
The 3 services are offering something. This is why people are coming to them. For Xbox, it's clearly that's why it's 180. You're paying partially for the day and date. Whether or not, however you feel about it, is what it is. But like, you're paying for that, and that's fine. You do get to have those when they come out. Nintendo.
You know the crazy thing, Zero? Xbox fans want PlayStation to be more like Xbox, but they don't want Xbox to be more like PlayStation.
So y'all want Nintendo to be more like PlayStation 2, but you never want PlayStation to be more like Nintendo. Okay, that's what the fans do with their respective systems.
I would rather make game to have voice acting. Thank you very much.
By all means, spend all that money on voice acting. Animal Crossing was still one of the best-selling games of 2020. So you tell me who's winning here. Bugsnax had full voice acting, didn't it? Where'd that go?
He got you there.
So you just tell me. You let me know when Legend of Zelda and Metroid Prime and Mario Kart and all those games come out and crush numbers and Pokemon. You let me know how much voice acting really matters.
Actually,
I don't know.
Metroid Dread did crush, and it had like very little voice acting.
I'm just saying, we make a big hum and han about people talking, but like the numbers say otherwise about what really matters here. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. Which
That's
is why
all I'm saying.
When it comes to PlayStation third party, they buy their games and they play their games.
And that's fine. I mean, I don't.
There's a demo for the new Kirby game.
Yes. Oh wow, crazy, right? You know how much did it cost, Dante?
It cost £50
for the demo.
Oh no! Free.
How much did
the
demo cost you, Dante? Wow,
it's free.
Did you have to pay into Nintendo for that to happen?
No, but for some reason Artemis doesn't have a demo.
Weird. It's almost like you can just make demos without having to pay anybody for them. Weird concept. I don't know, but I guess apparently for PlayStation you just have to buy into it. Cool, it's fine. But again, Xbox is day and date. Nintendo is what it's always been. It's nostalgia. I'm not so sure what PlayStation's is just yet.
They don't know what it is just yet because
and it's fair because they seem to keep PlayStation now has felt like an afterthought to PlayStation for so long. Like it was horrible.
PlayStation. It's a placeholder. That's what it is right now.
It was horrible when it first launched. Like it got better over the years, and then it just existed. Like the games would come out for it occasionally, but it never really seemed like Sony was like pushing it in any direction. It's just like we have it here, people are playing it. Okay, we'll do what we want, and so that's what it seems to always been. I'm hoping that with the addition of the PS2 and the PS1 and the PSP, that like they give it something. There are 16 PS2 games on PS Now right now. That's ridiculous.
It's gonna be the exact same catalog. It's not like you're gonna get a new catalog just because.
I'm glad you brought that up, Vero, because one of my biggest concerns is the marketing around it says 700 plus games. Currently, and my math could be off, let's say give or take 50, there are 864 games to date in PS Now.
Yeah, so you're gonna lose games.
So you're taking it because in my head, if you're adding PS2, PS1, PS Vita, that number should go up. Now the marketing is the way I'm reading the marketing is if you have more than 800, what you say is you have 800 plus. If you have more than 700, you have more than 700 plus. You fit between that level. So if you say 700 plus, that it means I'm reading, maybe you don't get to 800. So now my question is, what are you taking away from me?
So here's how I would see it, because they turned around and said adds a catalog of up to 400 PlayStation 4 and 5 games.
Right. Which already exists on PS1 now.
Yeah.
Currently, there's a catalog of 400 or so PS4 games.
The 340 come from the PlayStation 3. So
and there's about 400, another 400 PS3 games on PS Now currently.
Yeah. I'd say the rest of them are, it's either so you're probably losing games.
Yes.
Due to licensing. And then they're going to subsidize, because honestly, that would be the only reason I would think of is licensing, because I guarantee you a lot of those are not first-party games for the service.
Yeah. And another thing that you're going to fall into... And
then they're going to subsidize it with whatever they can pull out their asses for the PlayStation 2, and PSP, which is another reason why I say you should add the Vita shit to it.
And I think that the old stuff is really what hinges this service. The PS4 games are cool. PS5, I mean, people will probably just be getting them. So I don't know how often the PS5 game is going to be sitting on now.
I guarantee you, when they say PS5 games and they mean these 700 games, I guarantee you, because games have double SKUs on PlayStation. I guarantee you, Ghost of Tsushima PlayStation 4 version and PlayStation 5 version account as 2 games.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, most of their releases are on 2 platforms, right? I mean,
I wouldn't doubt that.
I guarantee you the PlayStation 3 version and there's the PlayStation, I doubt it, but there's the PlayStation 3 version of Last of Us and the PlayStation 4 version of Last of Us on PlayStation Now.
No, so at least for the older stuff, what they tend to do is they just release whatever the most recent version is.
But I'm just saying in general, if there's 2 SKUs of the same game, they count as 2 games. Is what the point I'm making.
So
I'm just throwing out different game names as an example.
I mean, for a couple, they'll probably do that. But
yeah, I think for the 5 and 4, because the catalog isn't going. 5 is not going to dominate this catalog. There aren't that many PS5 games. Period.
Right.
And I guarantee you, they'll probably if a new game, because it's not day and date, new games that will go onto this service, you probably won't see them on the service at all for probably 24 months.
Yeah, it's gonna be some time.
The real question in all of this is anything that PlayStation release gonna move PlayStation Now rebranded in the PlayStation Plus? Is it gonna move up the subscriber count? How many subscribers are gonna move up from
that's a good question.
Essential package to the new package?
They're banking on nostalgia. Because nostalgia
they have to offer,
but nostalgia is dependent on you buying is dependent on you buying the Premier service.
Absolutely.
You have to pay $120 to play old games.
Which is why I said they're banking on that. They're banking on the nostalgia.
They're banking on people paying the $120 for old games.
You underestimate, Pharaoh. That I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that is one of your shortcomings. As far as vision goes, is you underestimate the power of nostalgia, especially
I don't.
No, he's a nostalgic guy.
I'm a nostalgia guy.
No.
But if nostalgia was a factor, they'd have more than 2,000 subs right now because those games are currently on PlayStation
and
Now.
That's why they're combining the two.
But they're not on PlayStation Now.
Original PlayStation. There's no original PlayStation games on PlayStation Now.
That's why they're doing it now. That's why they're banking on the nostalgia for this.
Yeah, there are no PS1 games. There are only 16 PS2 games. So essentially, there are no PS2 games. It's only the service as it is made up of PS3 and PS4.
Right.
And that's only.
I think it's my turn.
Yes,
all right.
Kofi, please. Because Jube hasn't done either.
Oh yeah, Jube. I'll be short because I want to hear Jube's opinion too. I was more upset with PlayStation when they got rid of the PlayStation Store basically 2 years ago. I mean, it was a year ago, but basically 2 years ago, they said, we're not going to be selling this anymore. Nobody wants to buy it on PSP or Vita or PS3. The idea, in my opinion, to lessen how impactful your legacy is as a platform deeply hurts me, right? When I look at, I mean, I can't use Nintendo as an example right now. I want to talk about them, but like Steam to me is really the only tried and true place that keeps most of old games around so that you can kind of play through an entire series. Currently, for example, I love Falcom, right? 40-year-old development company. There's not many video game companies past 40 years old today. You can really only play like 80% of their catalog on Steam. Okay, there's like some super old games from like 1989 you can't play them. That's like so important to me, and I think it represents certain categories that might draw people to the PlayStation brand. So, for example, PlayStation bought Evo, right? And PlayStation now has a lot of fighting games that you can get inside of the ecosystem. They need to focus on certain ideas that are easily marketable. The three key ones to me are get people back in with the nostalgia, just like Dante was saying. Try to get things like Dino Crisis in there. Try to get crazy things like Legend of Dragoon back. I know a lot of the stuff is
I was
licensed in
literally
hell.
about to say,
Don't set your
can you-
expectations too high. Hold on, let me finish, because I also want to hear your opinion, Omar. The second thing is the China Hero Project. A lot of games that go into PlayStation Plus have been boosted up by that, and that was kind of a nuanced idea 2 or 3 years ago. It's less of a cool idea now, but games like Fist and Anno Mutationem and obviously Lost Soul aside, there's some really cool talent that we're just not tapping into it as much in the West. So people who are subscribing to this be like, oh, okay, I should be getting those kinds of things. Then things like Guilty Gear Strive, King of Fighters 15, or the new Street Fighter 6, whatever. I know it's probably not exclusive, but those things should be into the service sooner than later. Like, for example, Guilty Gear XR'd was a retail game that you could buy anywhere, but it went into the subservice with Street Fighter that was remastered, or with Tekken Revolution, or whatever the Tekken game was. So you can have 6 or 7 games that are all of the same genre that are there. I think when you start crossing that kind of space, you say the JRPG people are going there for nostalgia. You got the people going for I don't know, your Metroidvanias because of their love for the China Hero Project. And then you've got people going for the fighting games. There's your first 3 genres. Then you can go for the legacy PlayStation games. Of course, your Uncharted's, or I don't know, your Last of Us, or I don't know, Studio Japan games, right? The Puppeteer should be eventually natively downloaded. We know it's streamed. I think, to me, like, legacy is everything. So I look at this generally as a positive. I don't really look at this as a Game Pass competitor. I really hated that most of the articles market it like that, because then a lot of PlayStation people in PlayStation spaces that I was in before I came back to Twitter were like, oh, I can't wait to get God of War on PlayStation Plus. It's going to be so great. We're going to get it day one. It's going to be just like Game Pass. And obviously, I think most of us here, we knew that wasn't going to happen. Because I value that whole package more than I want to have my first, party games day and date. And this comes down to personal preference. I'll slow down because I want to hear Jube's take, but I'm just looking for that to return. And Vita games coming back, that's important too. I mean, like, I want to see what this PSP catalog is like. The PSP catalog is epic. I mean, absolutely mind-blowing epic. It sold 80 million units, which at the time was great. It was obviously a second place by a large margin compared to the DS, but it was still crazy with their catalog. They have a real opportunity here. Oh, a couple of other things. So yeah, Dante brought up that the PlayStation Classic was just like, what is this garbage? They may launch with exactly that, and it will certainly hurt the idea of paying that much a year for 20 games, like Herges, and you get like, Ridge Racer. Like, PlayStation has they really need to pay attention now. They could look at Konami, or like, I brought this up a couple weeks ago. There is a gaming archive that have been re-releasing games that are like from the 8-bit and 16-bit era on all platforms, right? It's like Ninja Gaiden, like the OG 2D Ninja Gaiden platform, because the cost to bring those games back for like $8 a pop, it's probably worth it. But there's a great effort to preservation that's happening in that space. I think it needs to happen for all three platforms in some capacity. And I mean, Nintendo's doing it now, right? I mean, I hope they keep it alive. Whatever is after the Switch, don't let Nintendo Online die. Oh, and that was my issue, because like Nintendo Online, they're getting rid of their 3DS games, right? But they hate piracy. But they have a huge opportunity to make so much money, right? Zero, like, they could be like, oh, you want to play like A Link to the Past? $100. People are like, I'll pay for that. I'll pay.
Don't fucking encourage them.
You're right. I'm sorry, but
Kofi, just a quick question for you.
I gotta ask
Does the PS Now do you have PS Now in Japanese or in US?
I do have the Japanese one.
Does the Japanese store differ? I know it differs in some, but like, because I sent the article, all of the Trials games showed up in PS Now for Japan.
Yes. So yeah, the PlayStation
is it a drastic
Now
difference?
It's a 25 to 30% difference. I mean, some of the interesting thing is PSP games. More PSP games are on PlayStation Now in Japan. I don't know many. Maybe God of War, like Chains of Olympus, is the only one I know that might be from PSP that's on PS Now in America. But over in Japan, like you said, they have the whole Trail series. They have the PSP game Trail series on PlayStation Now. There's nowhere else you can play the original Trails in the Sky on any home console. Unless you get PS Now Japan.
That's something else.
That's what I did.
That's something else we need to address. If they're really going to go ahead with this download emulation kind of thing with all these classic games, they need to make sure that they're emulated properly. And they're not dropping frames, and that they actually look good at a crisp fucking 4K display or 1080p display.
Agreed. And that's a huge cost.
I don't think that's happening.
And I kind of agree with you, Farrah. One of the things, Farrah, that you might have forgotten. Really quick. I just want to bring this up. For PS3 games, like, obviously the emulation's pretty good right now. The issue that PlayStation probably wants to stay away is syncing trophies for old PlayStation 3 games. And their whole ruined database tracking where they didn't have a number to assign to a username. It was only a name. And that's why the whole name change was such a disaster for 10 years. So mapping those trophies back. Remember, name changing now, even today in 2022, if you change your name, you might lose Vita trophies and PS3 trophies because they never figured out how to map that all back. They're just like, this is a mess. Whoever engineered this is a total idiot. So they let that go. If you bring that back, now how are people going to earn trophies? Are all of them forgotten? Are we going to somehow create some new engine and map that again? Ugh, it's such a disaster.
Kofi,
so that's probably what they're afraid of.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I want to ask you something.
Before you do, and sorry, Omar, you're going to have to hold down.
No, it's okay.
We need to move on, but I want to get Jube's opinion. I don't think it's going to happen, but like, I don't want to see a goddamn PlayStation 1. If I play a PlayStation 1 game on this, I don't want to see it stretched in a 4x3 box on a 1080p display where I can count all the goddamn fucking polygons by pixels. Like,
I agree, because that's literally... Right. I had to do that with a game called Rogue Galaxy.
And here's the thing. They could use, and here's the thing, it's not as unbelievable as it sounds. They can look at PC emulation, because if you use the PCX2 emulator, they use some kind of rudimentary anti-aliasing and some other effects that would be possible on the PlayStation 5, and the image quality comes out buttery fucking smooth on a 1080p display. It's possible for them to do it because it's already being done now. But will they do it is a different thing.
I have a question for Kofi and Jube. Very fast. When it comes to not third party, online games, do you expect if with something like Rival School and Bloody Roar to be played again and then to be revived?
Long term, I think it could happen. I just feel like there's profitability in bringing back games, and there's some games that have come back that I just never imagined. But they would have to be remastered, and they'd have to try to pick it up because the Bloody Roar dev, they don't exist, right? I don't remember who made it.
I don't believe so. While Jube is going to be talking, I'm going to have in the background while he's talking, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about as far as like PC emulation when it comes to PS2 games and the fact that they do come out looking really good. I'm actually going to have my Def Jam Fight for New York playthrough up just to show you like what I would like them to try and achieve with this service and what I feel like would be a reasonable standard. So, Jubei, what are your thoughts on all of this? Because I mean, everybody's just been fucking.
For sure. I just want to touch on, the price difference. Like, so when Xbox launched, Game Pass, there wasn't really a competing service for them to have a reason to price a yearly subscription, for competitive reasons. So you can say, okay, yeah, Game Pass Ultimate's $180 for a year because there isn't like, buy a year Game Pass. You have to buy it, quarterly or by the month.
And they
that's
don't
not to
factor in
say,
that EA is built into the service too.
right. That's also not to say that they won't, release a more competitively priced Game Pass just because
Now you're
competition.
talking about the future. We're talking about right here and now.
You're crying about it. Like I said, and just to go back to Pharaoh's
How
point,
am I
like
crying about it when I only stated factual information?
Hey, so if you paid $120 a year for your sub and you buy a PlayStation 5 game, you're paying more than what you would pay for Game Pass. That you can't argue away from that. That's exactly what you're doing. You're now $10 more expensive. So then you bringing up price in the first place, talking about it being more expensive, was a really stupid point.
Not really. Again, I'm getting more.
It is really because
games,
it's more expensive. It's more
so.
expensive. If you buy a first party Sony game and have their $120 service, you're automatically paying more money if you buy one game that
It's
year.
not about having more games. It's about having games that you're actually going to play. You can have a bunch of games in the service.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna play most of the 800 games in the service.
If I care about them, yes, there are a lot of games.
Okay, you're gonna play
missed
most
out
of 800 games. Okay, let's be realistic.
Now, if I said, I know you don't believe Omar when he says this, Pharaoh, but if I turned around and said I would play all those 800 games, would you believe me?
No, it's just not enough time in a day. It just isn't. Like, I mean, if you're gonna play each game for like a couple hours and then bounce off, but
It is.
You're not gonna
It is 2:40 in the morning. You think I care about how many hours in a day there is?
Exactly.
It's still finite. It's still finite. I mean, there are games in there that take 100 hours to beat.
Jubei, please continue.
It's nice to continue because it's nice to say, but realistically, no. Like, let's start the easy one. If you don't play sports games, there are a lot of sports games in PS Now. You're not probably not gonna play them.
So yeah, price notwithstanding, I wouldn't try to fall back on that because you're gonna end up paying more if you buy a game. I wish there was day and date just because it's just nice to have. Like I at this point, I feel like if I wanted to play, some of those backwards compatibility games that I may own, I'm now being shoehorned into getting.
I think you're gonna get day and date with the live service games.
Yeah, possibly.
What Haven Studio makes, with if there's a whatever Bungie makes, it's gonna be like that. Those games that would typically be like free to play, they won't be free to play. They'll be free in the service type thing instead of being free to play.
Right.
I think we'll see that.
More so, it was just. I feel like now I'm going to be forced to, subscribe to a streaming service that I don't necessarily want.
You're not forced to do nothing. The only way I'm getting PlayStation, not the upgraded service, is if there's like a timeline for certain games to get into the service. Like, okay, after like 8 months, I'll start to see like this PS5 game, this type. Like when I get a feel for how often I'm gonna see those type of games in the service.
In fairness, all the games are streamable, but only the PlayStation 3 games are locked to being stream games. The rest of them are downloadable to the console.
Because another benefit of the service is that the games are playable on PC.
Yes,
right?
Yes, they're streamable to the PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. the PlayStation 3 games. Oh shit. The PlayStation 3 games are the only ones that are locked to streaming as of right now. Everything else is download and play on the console.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez, you guys fucked up my train of thought.
Sorry. Sorry, I just felt like I needed to correct you that it's not entirely a streaming service.
I know, but I like PS3 games, and I'm not going to go out and buy a PS3. So I'm going to be shoehorned into paying for that very specific thing. God damn you! Why? Why are y'all like this?
Because y'all fucking do it to me all the goddamn time.
Hey man, rival schools might come back on this service, and that'll be worth be worth the entry.
I can't wait for Rival School and Bloody Roar.
I'm also curious because this is going to rotate. So how's that rotation going to work? Like, are they going to have it so their first?
You mean
party
like a PS Now
work?
rotation?
No, because they said like the even the PlayStation 4 and 5 games that are included as playable in the service will rotate.
I guess
So-
it's kind of like now.
Yeah, I say as it works now, like I only know it from like the bigger name games, like Last
I mean,
of Us
just look
was
at
a
how
game.
PlayStation Now did it.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna be
Yeah.
they're gonna be the same how Game Pass is, I think.
Like,
But
you know,
Game Pass doesn't rotate out Microsoft games though. That's the difference.
The only games that come out of Game Pass that are Microsoft games are, I believe, the Forza games because the car licenses.
We need to see,
So, like-
wait and see how it. Which is again, this was such a bad reveal in a sense. They should have answered.
I don't think it was necessarily a bad reveal. I mean, like we've kind of known what was coming for a long time. They just kind of just made official the launch date.
It's an investor
talking-
reveal because
I'm
their
talking about-
quarter's just ending, so like they just had to get some news out. The investors know the bigger news will come like soon, like later. But like or it's just like how I said before. It just maybe feels once again PS Now is like this weird afterthought to them.
It's not an afterthought. Like I was saying, it's a placeholder. Like they don't believe that streaming services are the future, but they're not pulling out because they see what's happening at Game Pass, but they still don't believe it's sustainable. But they're not gonna kill their service until they're proven right or wrong.
It was at the forefront, like you're thinking, Reggie. Like I remember playing Final Fantasy 13-2 on my Vita streaming now, and it actually worked kind of decent. I mean, I had really blessed with a nice connection. And then, like you're thinking, they regressed it, and then before Game Pass took off in 2017, it was really just around. Yeah, it was just around. It was
they were killing the service. They got rid of they got rid of I think the PC portion of it. They were slowly bringing the service, out of existence until Game Pass came out.
Yeah, so I'm just curious to see what that rotation is going to look like.
Okay, right. Moving on to the next subject. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover everything today, but the next subject is PlayStation is... Wait, is that? Yeah, PlayStation is looking to purchase more studios, as announced in the presser today. This one will actually be quick because I'll just ask each person which studio they think is going to buy, because with recent information literally given to me before the podcast started, it's seeming like PlayStation is actually looking to make an acquisition announcement soon, and it does not fall under US jurisdiction, sources say, which would seemingly mean that it might be a Japanese studio. But the official presser, which I'll bring up on screen now, says Studio still has plans to purchase more studios despite acquiring Bungie and Haven within the last 2 months. Sony Interactive Entertainment President Jim Ryan said to an official PlayStation podcast that Sony's first-party success has allowed it to invest into more studios. We're in a really good place with PlayStation Studios right now, and we have been for the past few years, he says. The critical success and the commercial success of our games that they've been making have given us permission to invest heavily in content creation. We're growing our studio organically, and we're growing through acquisition. We acquired 5 studios during the course of 2021. We're in discussions with Bungie, and we have more planned. This is getting us into a cycle, a virtuous cycle where success begets success. And with the recent information I got passed, it seems it's going to be a studio outside of the US, not necessarily Japanese, but if it doesn't fall under US regulation, then obviously it would be somewhere else, and everybody's laser focused on Japan, which I think is I wouldn't say it's a wrong move, but I would say that people are kind of overlooking other potential purchases. So, Pharaoh, with that news, who would you say, again, outside the US, who would you say would be a more likely candidate for PlayStation to buy?
I would think it's gonna be a studio that does multiplayer. I think they need more multiplayer. I think that's something that we've seen be a focus with Haven and Bungie acquisitions recently, and Fire Sprite's working on a multiplayer game. So I don't know which studio, but I think the studio will have a solid multiplayer collection.
Fair enough. Jube, what about you? Who do you think?
Who would they buy
Who
outside of the US?
Yeah, well, because the idea is that it is somebody outside of the US jurisdiction, which would mean that it would fall into obviously somewhere like Canada, Japan, England. Yeah.
Who could they buy? I mean, if it was me, I'd be trying to buy CD Projekt Red, to be honest. But that's just if it was me. Yeah, I think that would be my move.
That's not actually a bad one. I was not expecting it, to be fair. Kofi, Zero, who do you think?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of acquisition season. I don't like where this is going generally. But I actually don't know. I have no clue.
Kofi, who would you say?
I don't. When I think of like influential studio, that's big and would make people gasp, I don't know if there's anything out of Japan. Personally, I'm very excited. I mean, they could buy. I don't care. They could buy CyberConnect 2 and be like, we're actually going to make a legit complex fighting game, and I'd be excited because I like anything out of Japan. So I would say like something that would, I think, be a great marriage would be Level 5. And that's because there are tons of IPs under PlayStation's catalog that are already owned by PlayStation, and Level 5 has been, developing for them for years. And finally, I don't know if you guys saw that they had this, I don't know what you call it, live service game called Crossworlds that was out in mobile, and it made a ton of money. I didn't even I don't see anybody on my timeline talking about it. All I saw was earnings report, and I'm like, oh my god, Level 5 rolling in the dough. It's
the
finally
Ni no
coming
Kuni
to the
game,
West.
right?
Yeah, it's the Ni no Kuni game. So it's coming to the West. You probably saw on PC right now. They haven't said anything about PlayStation. And it just seems so strange to me because PlayStation works with Kadogawa. PlayStation, has this ownership of Funimation. They love animation, right? And Level 5, they released a mech game. I will say this over and over. They released a mech game called Megaton Musashi, which is really cool. I haven't played it just yet, but it looks really cool. I do own it. And it has an anime. And then they have Inuzama 11, and that has an anime. And then they had IBX, which is, Danbora Senki, which I'm currently playing on Vita. I mean, like, the cutscenes in this thing are just like, I'm watching an anime. They're so good at this. So they have Funimation. They have this partnership with Level 5. They make Ghibli games, which is like anime in a game. And somehow they just don't want to talk to each other. So to me, if you wanted ambition and you wanted JRPGs to help more JRPGs outside of Persona, and of course my beloved Trails, to help define a genre like Ni no Kuni 1 did for PS3. Get back with them. It just is a marriage in heaven. But who I would actually, who I think also could work is Arc System Works. I think Arc System Works has a lot of studios under them that they publish for, and their connections to other types of indie games or developer talent could end up something even more ambitious than what they've been doing with like Dragon Ball Fighter Z and the great Guilty Gear games. I think we had heard rumors about Arc System Works, so I don't know. But I like them because their fighting games and their animation talent is just top notch.
Hey, and Omar, I swear to God, if you say Square Enix, I will reach across the world and slap you.
Yeah, actually, I feel it's gonna be between Capcom and Sega. I've had a few. Let's just say Capcom makes sense because of Evo, because Street Fighter is a thing, and Sega, you're getting a lot of catalog with that chunk. Also, with Capcom, you have it's going to be interesting in a few days. Here is what makes this so interesting. A few days ago, Greg Miller said that PlayStation is making a big move, and he even moved his podcast to a later date for that announcement, and it never came. But I don't think someone like Greg Miller to be a quote-unquote fake insider or whatsoever. So I am expecting big news, and I'm curious what it's gonna be.
Right.
Also, they already used around 10 something yen for acquisition. We have yet to find out who that studio is. So PlayStation have been making move for the longest now. I'm curious who's gonna be. Who do you want it to be?
I'm gonna go completely goddamn left field. I'm gonna say Crytek.
Why?
Why? Because for one, you'd end up having a great staff who know how to create a really groundbreaking engine, which that's something PlayStation could really use as well, is engineers. Second of all, that would give them license to the Crisis series, and three, they're no strangers to multiplayer either, because they did Hunt Showdown. And let's not forget, Crytek also own the Time Splitters franchise, because they were formed out of Free Radical. Again, I went left field.
I would expect someone like you to say, CD Projekt Red.
See, that's why you know. That's why I turn around and say, "Don't think you know me." All right, and for the last one, goddamn, it's seeming like anybody that Microsoft has worked with, like, cannot catch a break recently, can they? Like,
Nope.
they can't, because now accusations are being thrown at the State of Decay studio Undead Labs, facing allegations of sexism and bullying. Jesus fucking Christ! Like it's like a fucking virus. It's being catched. People are catching this more than COVID recently. So I know. So as the report says, the open world zombie survival game State of Decay 3 was announced in July. Yeah, according to Kotaku report yesterday, the game remains stuck in pre-production as the studio has struggled with mismanagement, burnout, and workplace toxicity following its 2018 acquisition by Microsoft. Kotaku's story is based on 12 anonymous interviews with current and former employees. That sounds familiar. So it's important to note that the consolidation of feedback through, though upsetting, may not tell a complete picture of the studio's state of history. Undead Labs has doubled its size since the Microsoft buyout. according to the report. But the departure of the studio's founder, Jeff Streel, who left in 2019, left a real leadership void. While some employees initially worried that Microsoft would change the studio's internal culture, it actually looked in extremely hands-off approach, ultimately to the detriment to the company, according to one former employee. Our collapse came from within, and we could have used Microsoft's help, they said. The lack of clear direction during early pre-production of State of Decay 3 was exacerbated by problems at the studio. Developers split off into strike teams to prototype different new features, but there was little communication with oversight, and team members would routinely shuffle around, so there was no consistency in direction. One former employee said management would ignore QA concerns in favor of showing artificial progress in the game. Milestones consists of a pile of disjointed features that were less about making a fun game and more about checking off a list, one former developer told the site. Worse, 9 of the former employees interviewed for the report also complained about misogyny, bullying, and discrimination in the studio. Sorry, it's late. When I interviewed at the lab, I was sold the idea of a studio in transition that was making diversity, equality, and inclusion a top priority. Gotta hate those. They always ring hollow. One said, what it was in actuality was a studio leadership painting a DEI face of Microsoft, while women were consistently ignored, dismissed, interrupted, talked over, and blamed. Another said that women's opinions, even on basic matters, were often outright rejected and that no one would listen to them. Even women in director-level positions were outright ignored, talked over, and blamed for problems. We had to have a meeting. Equity norm rolled out because men kept talking over women so badly in all of the meetings and belittled them, once another source said, but the guidelines didn't help. Multiple employees interviewed for the report put the blame for the problems largely on Philip Holt, Strain's replacement, a studio head. They accused him of fast-tracking friends and other from other studios to lead new Undead Lab offices in Florida and Illinois, and also claimed that he helped push out two... I am so sorry, guys. And also claimed that he helped push out 2 women in high-level positions by failing to adequately support and hiring men for higher placed positions to absorb their roles. It was really a pattern where women were uprooted and men were protected and helped, one current employee said. Microsoft denied the allegations of nepotism, however, saying in a statement that there is a rigorous and standardized hiring practices to place in place at Undead Labs for all potential hires, with visibility and review from multiple studio members. It also noted that changes at Undead Lab in recent years include an entirely new leadership team, and that 42% of new hires in 2021 were female and non-binary, and 29% from a visible minority group. The studio has also launched a new training for managers, including a sexual harassment workshop. Why would you need that? I mean, why does that even have to exist? I mean, that should be standardized. If they say no, they mean no. Some employees see the changes as movement in the right direction, while others say Holt's continued presence is a roadblock. Despite these issues, many of the current and former employees interviewed for the report said they felt very positive about the aspects in the studio. Some said that while there's room for improvement, it's a very good place to work overall. The Microsoft acquisition caused upheaval, but it sounds like there's a hope for a turnaround, one current developer said. That changes at the studio could also mean that State of Decay 3 could finally start making real progress forward. It could be such a cool game, and we've got a lot of great people working on it, and just hope we don't repeat the terrible habits of the last few years, they said. Interestingly, Strain, the founder of Undead Labs, has been vocal about the game industry need to increase workplace safety and inclusion since his departure in 2021. He called for unionization across the industry, and in October he co-founded a new studio, Possibility Space, with a specific commitment of treating employees fairly and equally. So, I mean, it sounds like, obviously it was Omar that wanted to talk about this. I guess it was mainly because he thought that it was something negative about Microsoft. Just to get one more slight at them. But the end of this actually seems like Microsoft's influence was actually been a really, really good positive thing. Though seemingly some employees want the higher up out of there, like ASAP. But I mean, it's good that Microsoft has had a positive influence. I'm hoping that all I can turn around and say, my only thing is as great as inclusion and stuff is, it all should come down to the best person getting the job in the end, which initially it didn't seem like it was, and we don't know about the new practices. Maybe, hopefully, the best people got the job. And they just happen to be of a minority and such. But yeah, it seems like it's moving in the right direction. Pharaoh, your thoughts on this?
I really don't have any, because I don't know. You never know the depth of these issues. Like, is it a company-wide issue, or is it just issue between co-workers, and that they never went to HR or anything like that?
Well, you clearly weren't listening then, because I did say in this interview that they were saying that the head of the studio was basically getting people to quit, fast tracking people that he liked to better positions. And so, yeah, it was a company-wide problem.
Was it before?
But I'm saying, if you're not taking it to HR,
they were,
because he's not.
They were.
He's not the head anymore. Like, if it's a Microsoft issue, then he's not the ultimate head. You can go above him.
No, he left last year. This was after the Microsoft buyout. And
what is that?
They mentioned something did say about HR. Was that QA? What one was it? They did, but it did turn around and say they were, because what it was in actuality was studio leadership painting a DEI face for Microsoft, while women were consistently ignored, dismissed, interrupted, talked over, and blamed.
Because they're making it seem like this game was delayed. Say the K3 was delayed because of these issues, which means that this would have happened post acquisition.
No, it was it was post. It was after. Yeah, because they turned around and said, because again, it said that the original Jeff Strain left. He's the good one, apparently. He left in 2019 after the buyout.
Yeah, they were bought in 2018.
Yeah, 2019. He left after the acquisition. Then it all started to fall apart because of the new leadership that was brought in, because Microsoft was hands off, and that's when things started to fall apart. But now it seems more recently, like in 2021, things started getting a little better with standardized hiring practices.
It sounds like Microsoft, like big Microsoft, came in and said, "We're going to help you fix whatever you got going on." That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to comment on the actual claim, because I don't know those, because you said a lot of those people left. So I'm wondering if those people took it to big Microsoft, or is it the people that's currently on staff that were dealing with those issues?
Like I said, they interviewed former and current.
Yeah. but we don't know who of the former and current is stating what. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know, like if a current employee is saying that this or that happened.
Well, apparently it's all.
You know what I'm saying?
Like they're all corroborating each other's stories by the reading of this.
Yeah. So I just, like I said, I don't know if it's just an internal issue, or if it was a bigger Microsoft issue. But it sounds like Microsoft got a hold of it, and it's kind of cleaning it up. That's kind of the biggest takeaway I would get, like on the back end of the story, is that big Microsoft is kind of helping them clean up whatever mess they were dealing with.
Jube, any thoughts?
It sucks. I just hate how my whole point with that is you can't say, hey, be hands off, and then complain that they were hands off because you asked them to be hands off. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like
I mean, you can ask them to be hands off, but then when like shit hits the fan, you can be like, hey, something ain't right here. They can look at it.
yeah, but they eventually got to that point. But then, like when you read the interviews, it's just like, oh, we wish that they were more hands on from jump. Like that's wishful thinking. You didn't want that from jump. So hindsight is 100% 2020. But
because there's this
Yeah,
weird stigma.
but to be fair, you're blaming the employees for a deal that upper management made.
no, I'm not blaming the employees per se, because it's like you can't. The wording to me was off. Like you can't say, "Oh, I wish that they did this." Is like you stayed on knowing that this was going to happen, that they were going to be hands off. Like that was your time to.
But no,
jump.
you okay. You're kind of missing the point. It kind of started falling apart after the acquisition, but more so after the head of the studio at the time of the purchase. Jeff Streen left and the new guy Holtz came in. That's when all of these that's when all this stuff started allegedly happening with the misogyny, the bullying, the nepotism.
So then let me couldn't Microsoft have like you can am I missing something here? Is it not possible to be hand off but at the same time still keeping an eye? Is it not an option?
You can keep an eye, but I mean the information has to come your way. Like if no one's complaining at your level, then it's not much you can do.
No, but you can literally visit the studio every few months and see how people are doing.
Okay, you visit places all the time, and then next thing you know, you see on the news that it's a human trafficking place, and you never had any idea. Just because you frequent a location or you go see something doesn't mean you see all the issues that take place while you're there.
True.
When the big boss comes in, everyone puts on their best face.
That's also true.
Like,
it's a shame that's happened, but wait, it's not.
Yeah.
It's in the gaming industry only. It's overall, and
it's everywhere. Like it's just now it's.
But no,
it's not in the shadows.
Why didn't we hear about it previously? Why now we're hearing about it?
Oh, first of all,
because people are willing to talk.
Wait till your turn. I want to get Zero's opinion. Zero, what do you think?
Okay.
Admittedly, I didn't have a chance to pore over this article as I usually do with these types of issues. But I did read I read most of the Kotaku article and bits and pieces of what's his name? Is it Jeff? I guess the former director of Undead Labs.
Jeff Streen.
Yeah, Jeff Streen. Because he put out a tweet saying like this article from Kotaku is going to be coming out soon. I just want to present. Here are the questions that they asked me. Here's how the interview went. It seems to be a lot of issues going on. My biggest challenge with the article so far is that it's hard for me to track the timeline completely.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
When because it sounds like a lot of things are happening. So it's like there are some issues with Undead Labs. They get acquired by Microsoft. There's still some issues with Undead Lab. They're fixed, or like it's a fine place to work. There's some, we wish things were better, but it's still kind of okay. But then there's some more issues with Undead Labs. Microsoft is a little too hands off. Not hands off in the sense that like bad things are happening, just we would like them to be a bit more hands-on than I guess we were expecting. But with all that being said, to start with, I'm very happy at least that this type of information comes out, because the more it comes out, the more all of these things get exposed to the light. And so it's always important for employees to be able to, depending on how severe the NDA they sign is, because I know they only got 12. There are more than 12 people who work at this company. Probably a lot of these folks are under NDA and can't say anything. So, it sucks that they can't speak out about any of the issues that happened. From a Microsoft perspective, I would say my only challenge is, and truthfully, I don't actually know how larger companies do it, a la Disney or somebody like that. Microsoft is massive, and the more you acquire, the more like you just have to have eyes on things, and it can seem like a lot. And so what happens is Microsoft becomes this vast ocean, to where all these developers are bought by them, but Microsoft has wanted to say, just make your stuff. Like, we don't really want to get involved. We just want to own you so that we can reap the rewards. And if you need some influx of cash, or hopefully some working or teamwork from other organizations that we own, you can use that. But freedom is sort of the enemy of creativity. And so if Microsoft is sort of putting a hands up approach on this, then sometimes things are going to fall between the cracks, because you developer at Undead Labs, where State of Decay is cool, but State of Decay is not Halo, it's not Forza, it's not Gears, and I only use those just to represent very, very big Microsoft games and properties. Unfortunately, a lot of times all eyes aren't going to be on you, and that sucks. And I don't necessarily know how to fix it, because I'm not the CEO of a multi-conglomerate. Because, the only other way I can think is that you put everybody sort of on this unified path, but then that sort of also kills creativity too, because you're making everybody sort of do the same. You fit the Microsoft mold so that they can keep an eye on you, they can make sure what's going on, but like that's probably going to like also kill creativity and sort of squash it. So I don't know what the right answer is in between this. What I hope is that articles like these and situations like these keep coming up, so that Microsoft, particularly because they bought all these folks, like you need to keep an eye on what you spent money on. Because the last thing you want is for a horrible work culture to grow under your watch. And it might be difficult to see it all the time, but like you're gonna have to do better. Or frankly, we're tired of hearing that excuse. Now, like, you just need to do better. You got $1 trillion. You got all this money to buy publishers. Make sure the people who work for you are taken care of and are protected. Because you have the resources to do so. And so far, it seems as they are. This isn't a knock on them. It's just hopefully it is an eye-opening thing for them, or for Phil, or for whoever manages like all the other acquisitions and teams that they have to do. I imagine somebody is at the head outside of Phil saying, hey, what are you guys doing? How's this going? Because there has to be some level of hierarchy.
Yeah. But with what you're saying though, like people underestimate, like when you work for like a Fortune 100 company, those HR departments are powerful. They're more powerful than anywhere you work at in that damn company, damn near, unless you're like a VP. Like they will like crush your studio head if there's like those type of issues, because the amount of liability that big Microsoft is could be on, liable for if there's like rampant sexual or workplace misconduct. Like them HR departments and Fortune 500 companies are powerful.
I agree with you. And I think that sword swings both ways. because they're just as powerful enough to make it go away.
Yeah, they are, but I mean, in
And
this
go
instance,
away in
they're
the
not making it
bad
go
way.
away.
Yeah, not fixing,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like making it go away.
Oh yeah, they can.
Yeah.
But people underestimate those HR companies, and they're like the big bully inside the damn company.
Yeah, and you know, I think, you know, you're a developer for State of Decay 3. I think it can sometimes be intimidating. Like I work here in the sea of Microsoft amongst the thousands of employees that these people own. You know, some people might not feel their voice is heard. You know, we still have an issue with just like hearing people in this industry specifically. Microsoft's a tech company. They're no stranger to all the issues that revolve around like the tech industry. I said, it seems as though they're at least doing an okay job. Time will tell, because like I'm sure there are more articles to come out because there are more studios to be bought. I just hope that Microsoft makes sure they understand, like, come on, man, do the best you can to protect these people. It only ever hurts you in the end run. Well, partially, but you know,
Well,
hopefully with gamers keeping a more focused eye on this type of stuff, like, we'll be able to hurt them much more than we would in the past.
Alright, Omar
No.
closes out on that one.
Here's the thing. Undead Lab have their last game was with Microsoft, right?
No, their last game was State of Decay 2, which was still technically an indie. They were bought shortly thereafter.
Okay, but it was still a Microsoft game, right?
No, it was an indie. It was
not a
ID at it went through the ID at Xbox program, but it wasn't an Xbox game.
It's not on PlayStation, right?
Oh my god.
It's not on
No,
PlayStation, but it's not. But just because a game is published through ID at Xbox doesn't make an Xbox game.
Yeah, it was published through Xbox Game Studios.
Yeah, so my thing is, they've been working with Undead Lab now for a while. So at some point, you gotta, like, I will always go back to the mini conversation that Jim Ryan had at E3, where he said, my job was, when I visit the studio, is to see what problem do you have and how can I solve your problem. And that's how it should be. You don't need to handcuff your developers and their freedom, but you need to make sure the workplace is fine and prevent stuff like this. And of course, some stuff I'm gonna slip through to the crack, but and as much as I don't want to come over in a different way, I am like Zero. I'm happy that this is being reported, so the people get quote unquote exposed. But I want consequences. If we don't have consequences, we will never get better. Or like, for example,
These companies can't lay out consequences; they can only fire you. That comes from the legal side.
There needs to be investigation. For what is not? Is this not illegal?
I
Is
mean,
what illegal?
Accusation and stuff like that.
Depending on the level of accusation, not specifically. For example, if you're just being mean to people at work, if you're just an asshole, that's not illegal. You're an asshole, but it's not illegal. Sexual assault and other things are a different issue.
But
they're illegal. Like sexual assault and harassment is illegal, but you have to actually go to the authorities and place a complaint. You can't just go to Kotaku and release an article.
And you have to win.
Yeah,
you do have to win.
Legal, like famously, like what was it? The kid who hacked the PS3, and PlayStation just waited him out. He can't afford the legal fees, like, so you lose regardless. So you have to have a airtight slam dunk case, which sometimes they are. but a lot of times in this situation, it's really hard to nail down very specifically. Unfortunately.
Gotcha.
But you know
Yeah,
what?
I
You know what
yeah.
can be nailed down? These outros. So Pharaoh, give us your outros, my guy, because this is before we go way longer than we need to.
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at Pharaoh Bizarre, Twitch Land of Pharaoh, Pharaoh Bizarre, YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, you can catch me streaming or watch some old clips whenever I get around to it. Typically stream on Sundays. Try to get some other days in, but life is busy and I have kids, so they take up time. So yeah, farewell.
You got kids. Alright, Jubei, what about you, man? Where can people find you?
Yep, you can find me at Jubei Sensei on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Jubei X Sensei on gaming platforms. Yeah, I'm just gonna play some Legos in a couple hours here. That's where you'll find me.
Alright, Omar, where can people find you?
People can find me Carbon Job on Twitter and Game Player every Saturday, 5 p.m. It's standard, and at the Ghost and Garage Gaming every Sunday.
Alright, cool. You can find me at Dante Crisis on Instagram, Twitter, and the Dante Crisis on Facebook. Dante Crisis on YouTube, Twitch, and D Live. Zero, where can people find you? But more importantly, where can people find us?
Well, to start off with, let's also remind, please go search out creative_Kofi on Twitter. Yeah, mostly just Twitter is where you'll find him. As he said, the Korno Kisaki Zero Field sheets are up, so like go get them, play the games. Like the team worked hard on them, support them. And looks like they might be working on something coming later in the year. So like you got more stuff coming. As for me, of course, you can find me 0x0.exe, pretty much everywhere, just playing Elden Ring. Don't invade me. So I don't know if Jubei or Dante, I've learned the only time you can get invaded is when you have people.
When you're,
Yes.
you can only
unless
you put it down.
Only time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this feels a little too lucky for me to have not been invaded this entire time.
You have to either manually put down a sign, but as soon as you're in co-op, you are invadable 100%.
Okay. So find me there. That's where you will usually be. But of course, more importantly, because it's not just me, I'm part of a wonderful, wonderful team here. Please find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. What other podcast stations, guys?
Castbox, Deezer, OnlyFans, Pandora,
Pornhub.
Anywhere that they talked about Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, you can find us.
Like a bitch. What a little bitch.
MySpace, Black Planet, GeoCities, AOL chat rooms, like we're all of this. Yeah, Facebook.
You know what? The fucking spotlight was on Will Smith that night, and fucking Jada Smith's fucking head was shining the light on everybody else.
Yeah, you better be careful, sir. Like, I live in close proximity to Philadelphia. Like, he might just hit me. Well, no, you know what? Will Smith got money. He can fly to you as well. I don't gotta worry about it.
He lives in Hunt Valley for part of the year.
Hey, listen. That night, Will Smith was from the mean streets of Philadelphia, and Jada looked like she was from the movie.
So, like, you know, please, guys, it's always a blast to do this. We always have absolute great time. But of course, we always separate, so please go follow Dante Crisis. I'll be back in his streams fairly recently. I still don't know if... Well, actually, I think I might be further than you in Elden Ring, just in a whole different area.
Yeah.
So I could probably tune in to, like, the Elden Ring streams a bit more now.
Yay.
So that's fun, because I always have a good time watching Dante play. Yeah. And maybe we'll get together at some point and actually just, like, play together. Because that would also be a blast. If you notice, I'm trying to just ease my way into your streams here. Like,
yeah, he's trying to invade.
Yeah, just let me in. Open the door. Like vampire rules. Just give me an invitation and I'll be there. Please find Jubei X Sensei everywhere but Twitter. Doesn't exist on there anymore. So please find him there playing games and check out the Tunic review. Where is that on your YouTube channel?
Yes, it's on my YouTube channel.
Yes, so please check out the YouTube channel. Check out the Tunic review. I have read it. I've not listened to it yet, so I'll listen to it at some point tonight.
Good review.
But I suspect nothing but good reviews. Please, of course, follow Pharaoh. He will generally play in Madden. Nobody ever took him up on the Madden challenge. That's unfortunate, but it's fine. I understand. Sometimes it's best not to lose, so you might as well just keep it energy that way. As always, Omar Game Slayer 6 o'clock
Or 5.
or 5.
I hate the fucking time change so much.
So Saturdays, always check him in. He's always got great people, great conversations, and a different cast of characters. As always, guys, we appreciate you. You could literally be doing anything else, but you decided to listen to us, and so we always appreciate you that. So thank you.
Yes, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, keep it gaming. Okay, we out of here. Peace.
Later.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside.